Cool.
And you also sell too?
Crazy. Yes.
Oh,
I've been
nice.
selling since about 2016. I
Wow.
started using Helium 10 in about 2017. I was selling and I was a freelancer as well. And I was working for big brands, small little, individual sellers, helping them optimize their listings. And I started using Helium 10 to do that. And a lot of the reason I got into it is because a lot of the agencies were using Helium 10 to do reverse ASIN searches, which I'll show today. But basically, at that point, you had to pay each time you did these reverse ASIN searches. And now it's just kind of a free for all. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, I remember it was like, oh my gosh, with Helium 10, you had a certain number of uses. And so it was better than the other, offerings that were like you had to pay,
Yeah, yeah.
$2 to do the reverse ASIN. So
And did you start? Sorry, if I just obviously it fascinates me when somebody is doing is working for the
mhm.
company, but is also still selling on Amazon too.
Yeah.
Did you start with private label straight away? Did you do any arbitrage? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I started with private label kind of by accident. The way I started was my dad and I took over a company that was failing. It was our neighbor's son's skateboard company that wasn't doing very well.
Wow.
And we were like, oh my gosh, we can probably help to, fix this. And they were only selling like $200 a month on Amazon. They were using Vendor Central. And I was like, I sell more than that in a day over the phone because I was doing sales over the phone. And so I was like, I can figure this out. I went on YouTube, started learning how to optimize listings, how to sell on Amazon. And then I switched everything over from Vendor Central to Seller Central so that I had more control over the listings. And we just started selling pretty well. And then we started another brand. So it was really kind of a slow burn. I really think for me, a lot of people do, arbitrage or, to kind of build up their capital. But I built up mine I was kind of supporting myself as a freelancer. So I worked with FreeUp as a freelancer and I started optimizing, just working full time, helping other brands to, grow their brands. And at the same time, I was developing the knowledge for myself.
That's brilliant. I've only
Yeah.
been doing it for what, a year now. A year now, and I thought, why have I not? Because I used to do arbitrage all the time, but it's been amazing for me seeing the sales just being my brand name. It's just a different kind of feeling,
Yeah. It's
completely.
fun.
It's just nice. Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah,
exciting.
so when Helium 10 reached out to us, I just thought, let's demonstrate here because a lot of the times when it comes to Helium 10, most people just showcase the black box, which is brilliant and amazing tool. But I just thought, let's look a bit behind the scenes, the keyword research and
Mhm.
all.
Okay, so yeah, this is what it looks like when you log into Helium 10. Some people might have a dashboard, some people might not, depending on the plan that you have. But the tools that I want to focus on today for keyword research are Cerebro, and then I'm going to also show how to keyword track. So what we need to do is just pull down this tools menu. We have got Cerebro in here, and we also have Magnet, which is another keyword research tool. But Cerebro, I love. It's a reverse ASIN lookup, which means basically you can take any ASIN product ID number, on Amazon, and you can put it in here, and it's going to show you all the keywords that that product is ranking for organically and sponsored. So it's pretty amazing tool. So um, this is what it looks like now. You can choose whatever market. So if you're selling in the UK, you can choose the UK market. You can choose whatever Amazon market, and if you're selling on Walmart.com, you can also choose Walmart.com. And then with Walmart.com, it's just a product ID instead of an ASIN. So pretty much the same process. So what you want to do is you want to go to Amazon and find your kind of top competitors in order to be able to kind of look at what they're doing. So what I like to show is just we have a product that we use as a demo, and it's a coffin shelf, which is a really weird
Wow,
product, I
yeah.
know. But it actually sells year round, which is so strange to me. But literally, this is a whole niche of like goth, and so people buy these to decorate their houses year round. It definitely there's a spike at Halloween, and even on it's actually a really big time to buy this kind of stuff at Christmas time too. So sometimes products might not always seem,
Wow.
they seem like they're seasonal, but they might be year round. So it's a coffin shelf. It sells year round. It's so basically, I go to Amazon and I'll search the main keyword. So our product is a coffin shelf. So we're just going to search coffin shelf. And what I'd like to do is pull our extension, which is our X-ray extension, and it's going to show you a lot of information about all of the products that are on that page. So It'll show you revenue, which is one of the key things I look at to kind of look in whose keywords I want to steal. I want to steal the keywords of the people who are making the most sales. But so this is actually our product here, Manny's Mysterious Oddities Coffin Shelf. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for one of our competitors first and show you what that looks like. So if we take a look down here, let's see here. Looks like sales are kind of slow right now, but this is a makeup one. This one sells pretty well. See, they're about 7,000 in revenue
Wow.
this month. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy that ASIN and paste it in here and click on Get Keywords. And this is going to show us basically all the keywords that this product is ranking for in the organic and the sponsored search. So that's going to give us a good place to start, especially if we're just starting out and creating our listing. And so you can see down here, we just did a single search. Now you can do up to 20, and I'm going to show you how to do a multi-search as well. But I like to start with a single search because something that you can do is you can actually take this and let me see if I have a new computer here. I'm
Nice.
scrolling over here. You can take a look at the sponsored rank, and I like to kind of sort sometimes and see where they're ranking for their sponsored. And so you can get a good idea of some good keywords of, maybe where they're advertising. So coffin makeup holder, has a little bit makeup thing added to it. Wall mounted ashtray. That's kind of interesting that they're ranking for that. Coffin yard decoration. So never would have thought of that one. So they're ranking number one in that. That one's about a 273 search volume, but it's trending up.
Yeah.
So this is a keyword that's trending up, something to take a look at. I like to look at these search volume trends as well to see if a keyword is going up or down. So even if it's a low search volume, if it's going up, it's something you want to take a look at and kind of save and start targeting as well. You can still make some good sales on this.
Yeah.
And let's see here. We've got goth accessories, gothic bookshelf decor. So definitely something that would be good for that. It looks like they're ranking number one, sponsored for that. So you can see that when you kind of search for their top sponsored results for top seller, you can see some good keywords here by just doing that, and that's a good way to kind of find the most relevant keywords for that particular product. But I like to really just spy on their advertising strategy. Now, obviously, they're going to have some auto campaigns in there and some manual campaigns in there. But the cool thing is that means that you can steal the keywords that they're targeting on their auto campaigns that you would normally be fishing for. So this is a good way to kind of take those without having to necessarily pay for them. And make your list of all the different things. Now, obviously, some of them are going to be weird and maybe not so relevant. Sometimes they are relevant. There was one keyword on here that was something about a specimen, and it was wet specimen was the keyword, and I was like, well, that's probably not. Let me see if it's in here. I can sort by phrases containing. So let's go wet specimen. Oh, let's just do wet. Let's see if it's in there because I don't know if I spelled specimen right. It's not in there. So I'm going to clear the filters. But basically, when I looked it up, it was like these little specimens of animals, and they were showcasing them in a coffin
Oh,
shelf.
wow.
So it was actually really relevant. So sometimes it might not look relevant, but what you can do here, if you're not sure, you can click on this little extension button here where it's like a square. You can go directly to Amazon to see if it's a fit. Now, this one I don't think is a fit, okay, because it's a wall mounted ashtray. Probably not. You can actually hover over. You can see the top listings that are ranking for that. So it's kind of the advanced view here. So coffin yard decoration. Okay, I can see these are the top listings just at a glance. So it'll help you that way as well. So you can either go to the page or just to do a little hover, and it'll show you. So I like to sometimes on the more broad ones go to the page to see if it would, because I can scroll down a little bit more to see if it's more relevant. Like for goth accessories, it could be more relevant. You could find some more stuff down towards the bottom, and people with those kind of broader searches might be scrolling down further than just looking at the top 10. So this is a great way to just find those keywords that your competitors are targeting. Now, another great thing to look at is title density. Title density is something that is basically how many competitors have the exact phrase in their title on this first page of search. So, for example, for coffin makeup holder, if you were to search this, on Amazon for coffin makeup holder, only one competitor has that exact phrase in their title. And the reason why that's important is because if you put it in your title, usually you're going to rank faster for it. The phrases that are in the exact form in your title are going to get more ranking juice. So you can kind of see if something's more competitive. So this one's, 13. It's a bit more competitive, but obviously that one's not relevant. Let's see what this one is. Standing ashtray, coffin shelf. Okay. So coffin shelf, this is going to be more competitive. 27 of our competitors have coffin shelf exactly in their title. It doesn't mean you shouldn't put it in there because it's probably the main keyword. You want to kind of have that in there as well. But then there's also other keywords that you might want to, target as well. So that's just something to take a look at. This one's one home decor Halloween. So people are still looking for home decor Halloween,
Oh no,
and
wow.
you can you can actually take a look at the search volume history, so you can see, let's see, all time. You can see where the search
Spikes.
goes on Amazon for that one, but not as big, but it does definitely spike during certain times of the year. But anyway, that is title density. Title density is a really good just metric to use in terms of competition. So maybe there's a keyword that has a pretty good search volume but a low title density. So for example, coffin decor. This is a higher search volume for this niche. So 1300. I could there's only two competitors that have that exact phrase, coffin decor. You could put that in your title
Awesome.
and potentially rank for that. So coffin shelves. Maybe you have a bundle of three. You can put coffin shelves in there. Only one competitor has that in there. So you want to take a look at kind of the search volume versus the title density to see if it's a really good opportunity to try to rank for it. So if it has a higher search volume and no one's really targeting it, it could be something really worthwhile. But overall, you can see when you do a single search, there's a lot of things. If you have brand analytics, so if you have brand registry from Amazon and you have your Helium 10 account connected to Amazon, you can actually get this brand analytics data right in Cerebro. So if I click on this for a coffin makeup holder, I can actually see the top clicked and converted ASINs. Now, the reason why this one might not be showing too much is because of it might be a lower volume, so it's maybe not showing as much. But sorry about
Don't
that.
worry,
I
it's new computer.
don't know what happened with that. um, yeah. So, yeah, basically you can click on here and you can see the top clicked and top converted. So here we have right here, December. Sometimes the data hasn't rolled in as well. So we've got the top clicked here. So you can see these top three, or you can actually kind of scroll along here and see the top three clicked and converted. It'll show on the bottom there. As you can see those three, as you scroll over the graph, it'll show which ones are the top clicked. So it gives you a good idea of what which ones are kind of converting better
Yeah.
and for those keywords. And so what you can do is you can take a look at why. So if I click on this run listing analyzer here, I can actually put those ASINs. So I only have one right here, but I can put all of the ASINs that are, getting the top clicks. So I could put the top three in here, and I can maybe even just kind of compare myself to them on listing analyzer and say, okay, for example, when this loads, media comparison. So these are the top three clicked. Okay. So these are the top three clicked compared together. I can see stacked on top of each other what the images are. So if this one's getting the higher conversion rate, why would that be? What are the images doing? So you obviously those are kind of a little bit different, but you can kind of see how this one is presented compared to maybe this bottom one that's not getting as many clicks. You can see if there's, are we missing a dimension image? Are we missing an infographic? Is there a selling point that's on there that I don't know about? So this is a good way to kind of figure out, how to make sure that your listing is going to get those clicks on the keyword. That's just a side note. That's a different tool. But going back to Cerebro, you can see the top clicked and top converted products. You can make sure that they're relevant to what your niche is, and you can go from there. Okay, so the next thing you can do is what I like to do is do a multi-search multi-search to see where I compare to my competitors. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the Amazon search, and I already have the X-ray extension pulled up. And this is our ASIN, this Manny's Mysterious Oddities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually close this one out, and I'm going to put ours first. You always want to put your ASIN first when you do a multi-search. if you want to compare yourself to your competitors, because everything is going to be compared to this first
Awesome.
ASIN when you put it in there. I know some people get a little confused by that, but you always put yours first if you have it. If you don't have your listing yet, you can just put them in any order. So say you're just doing keyword research for a product you haven't launched yet, just put a bunch in there and you'll just know that that first ASIN is what everything is being compared to. And so what I usually like to do is look for higher sales volume. So that we've got this one here, the makeup. It is a coffin shelf and a makeup coffin shelf. I usually will compare myself still just because they use a lot of the same keywords. And then I'm going to go back and I look at, let's see. We've got, this one is about 2,300. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at that one too. And let's see if I can find another one. I don't know if I've done this one, but let's see. This one, these are not see, because sometimes there's some advertisements here that are not
Yeah.
relevant. So that's kind of funny that all of these are not relevant. Okay, so we've got a spiderwebs floating shelf. Spider. This is another one of our, that's our product actually. That's where we're ranked there. I'm gonna just try to find one more if I can. I'm usually looking for just some good revenue. This one's only $7.19, but I'll use it for just some demo purposes here. Okay, so we're gonna start there, and everything's gonna be compared to our ASIN here, and you're gonna click on Get Keywords. I'm gonna just run the new search here to get all updated keywords. You can, if you're doing it, back to back, you can just do load from history, and it'll pop up a little bit faster. But I actually haven't done this search for a little bit, so I want to make sure we have the most up to date things in here. Just take a second here to
Can I
load.
ask, Kerry, while that's loading,
Yeah.
how often do you go back and look at the keywords? So, say for example, you've launched your product. Is that something that you do
Mhm.
weekly or fortnightly? How would you tackle it?
Um, Probably every few months. It really depends. We actually have a way that you can kind of set up our insights dashboard to have keyword recommendations for you through Cerebro. So that can help you if you set that up, which is a whole nother
Yeah.
demo. But in terms of if you want to do some, I would say do it every 3 months to see, because you're going to find new stuff.
Yeah.
And every season kind of brings new things. So it's a really interesting thing to kind of look at when you're, doing it at different times of the year.
Oh, yeah, different times,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So this is so we've got the search results here, and we've got all of these. So we can still see the click share and conversion share. So the basically you can again click on this if you want to see the top clicked and converted for coffin bookshelf there. Keyword sales. This is how many sales is the basically each keyword is making. Cerebro score, I don't always use this one, so I usually kind of skip over it, but that's just kind of showing competition. Search volume is a key metric that I look at, and then also search volume trend. I really like to see things trending upwards. If things are trending downwards, it might be seasonal things, so they might be just a seasonal keyword, and you can note that, but you still might want to have some presence on there. If we go over here, there's something on here on Cerebro called CPR. This is the number of sales you need to make in the first 8 days when you're launching something in order to start ranking in the top 10. So for coffin shelf large, you need to make at least 8 sales in order to rank in the top 10. Some of these, depending on the niche, it will be like 1,000. So this is going to give you a good measure of how many sales you need to make. Now, this could be through PPC. So when you're starting to, launch and you're doing some aggressive PPC, you need to make sure you have that certain amount of sales. And you can definitely do that number if you're focusing on the right keywords with PPC. Okay, and then we scroll over here a little bit more, and I'm going to go to position rank. So position rank, this is where our ASIN is. So this first ASIN that we put in here, which is ours right here, the position rank is the organic rank, basically the organic placement. So where you are ranking without sponsored ads. So for coffin shelf large, we are spot number 13. Okay. And the relative rank here is going to show you where you are in the race to your competitors. So we have a total of 4 ASINs. So we are 4th out of 4 on here. So it looks like we need to work on that.
Right.
If you hover over the number, you can see that our ASIN is bolded at the bottom. So we're literally 13th and all of our competitors are 1, 3, and 5. So we need to speed it up, figure out how to rank for coffin shelf large on there, because it's pretty relevant. Although ours is kind of small. Coffin shelves, that's another one that looks like people are searching for. We're fourth again. So you can kind of look at, where your relative rank is, and you can kind of see, okay, we're not doing so great here. I need to figure out how we can start ranking for those, particular keywords. Then you can look at the competitor rank average. So the three competitors, where their average rank is. So they're all the way down at 3 and we're at 13. So we've got to take a look at that. Okay. We're at spot 22 and our competitor's average rank is 3. So, these are kinds of ways that you can really compare yourself to your competitors and see, why I might not be making as many sales as them. Well, I'm not ranking
Yeah.
the same way as they are, for our organic spots. You can also sort by ranking competitors. So sometimes the ranking competitors, maybe there aren't as many. So you could say, hey, I want to see keywords where there's a maximum of um, two of them ranking there, so that I can see kind of those keywords where there's only two competitors ranking for a keyword, and see if there's some keywords that are up and coming that I might be missing. So coffin home decor, only two competitors are ranking for that. Looks like we're not even ranking for it at all. So coffin home decor might be something to look at. If we scroll over here, we can look at the search volume. It looks like there's not really much search volume,
Yeah.
so maybe not something. However, this could be something that could be a keyword that goes really well during Halloween. So that could be something, but you always, want to look back at the search volume too, to just see, is it something that I really want to, put my effort into as well. But a lot of times when you kind of sort that way, you can find some golden keywords in there that will help you to kind of see kind of something that's kind of up and coming that your competitors might have found first, but then you can start capitalizing on it. Maybe they found it through their auto campaigns. Um, there's a bunch of ways that you can find it. So that's a really good way to kind of sort through and filter all these keywords. Another thing too that I this is more advanced. I don't know if you want me to show an advanced
Yeah,
strategy
yeah,
here.
please do, yeah.
This is actually one of my favorite things. This is actually a diamond level plan, but I think this is so worth it. So if you click on historical trend, so it's going to take the historical trend of the first ASIN. So it's only one ASIN at a time for historical trend. So basically, it's going to show where this is kind of since we're the first ASIN, this is our spread of sponsored and organic ranking over time. And so say we wanted to go back and say, what keywords did we rank for? Or like, okay, so we're kind of down here, but look, we did much better in August of 2022, or, October of 2022, or November of 2022. What keywords were we focusing on then? So you click on the bar here and click apply filters, and you can see where this ASIN was ranking that month organically. And then also you can see the search volume. So I love that you can kind of go back in time. Let's see if we can see the organic rank here. So if we do position rank, we're going to do 1 to 10. All right, so we're going to see all of the kind of rank positions that we had. Now, some of these are kind of weird, but you can see what the search volume was during that month. And you can see, obviously, it was a bit higher then. So it's kind of the average search volume for that month. So you can, if you wanted to kind of go into the seasons like Christmas time, or maybe your product sells a lot better in the summer or the spring, you can go back in time with your competitors' ASIN. You can look at what keywords they were ranking for or they were targeting with their sponsored ads, and you can see, what keywords you should be looking at.
For that time
You
of
could do it
year.
for Prime Day. Yeah, Prime Day is a good example. There's a lot of random Prime Day keywords that you don't use throughout the year, but what you can do is you can get ahead of it maybe a month or two before the season starts. You start running ads on these keywords that you know are going to jump up, and you're going to be able to kind of get ranked higher and get yourself positioned higher before the crowd comes in. For example, there's a keyword that's goth gifts, and I found it on here, and it's literally like 700 in search volume in September, but it went all the way to 70,000 in December.
Wow.
So that was something that we could capitalize on. So there's a lot of really golden nuggets that you can find by looking back in time and finding those keywords that are seasonal. So that's the historical trend. Again, it's a diamond level plan, but if you are selling a seasonal product, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Or if you want to kind of get ahead of the competition when you go into those prime seasons like Prime Day, Black Friday, Christmas season, whatever those holidays are that your product does better in, you can use that tool, and it's a game changer. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the filters there and go back here.
Because effectively, you're
But
saving money in advertising, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You're saving money in
yeah,
advertising because
yeah,
you're doing it so early, so much earlier than anyone else.
hmm
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. You're basically, because most people will start advertising a lot later, and they don't always recognize the keywords that are going to go up higher.
Yeah.
So even if they're doing keyword research, they might say goth gifts, so that's only 700 search volume. They might ignore it. Whereas, oh, this is going to go high in December because it's a really popular keyword for gifts for gothic people. There was another one that was like witchy gifts for women,
Oh, wow.
thousands of searches. So, just kind of ranking your product where these kind of gifting keywords are too is amazing as well, where other people might not be targeting those specific keywords because they're not really showing up in the search a few months before, and people don't not everyone has access to this
Yeah.
historical trend. So I would say that's kind of an overview here of our keyword research tool, or Cerebro. And so I want to go into keyword tracking. So I know that that seems like a lot, but there's a lot of filters here as well. I probably should go over those a little bit more too, actually. There's a bunch of filters you can filter through Cerebro. You can filter it by search volume. So if you wanted to do like, I want to see where there's a minimum of 500 search volume. A lot of times I'll go, it depends on the niche, but for competitive niches, you might do a 500 to like 3,000 to see what the kind of lower search volume keywords are, see if there's any low hanging fruit. You can do phrases containing. So if you wanted to see, like these are all coffin shelves, you want to see
Yeah.
keywords that only contain coffin, you can do that, or goth. You can kind of sort through that way. You can sort by the your organic rank. You can do a bunch of things on here. Now, if you want to learn more, maybe this is a lot of information in this one call. Click on this learn button, and you can see a bunch of different strategy videos on how to use Cerebro in here, and they're really short. There's this one's like 4 minutes, 2 minutes, so you can kind of brush up on your how to use this tool by just looking at this learn video. But Cerebro is an incredible tool for you to find and spy on your competitors, find keywords that you might not otherwise have found, or that you might have had to pay for through automatic campaigns. And it's one of my favorite tools of all time. Okay, so the next tool that we want to do is we want to do keyword tracker. So keyword tracker is under analytics. I'm just going to open it up in a new tab here. And keyword tracker is incredible because it's going to help you, especially when you're launching, to track your keyword rank. A lot of times people are wanting to see, okay, am I ranking for these keywords that I am targeting? So you found your keywords, you put them in your title and your listing, and you started your PPC, and now you're launched, and now you want to see, okay, is my rank climbing? If it's not, then you might want to adjust your strategy, right? If it is, then you're doing the right thing. So, for example, we've got, let's see here, let's see if we can find our coffin shelf. There's a lot of different test items in here. But let me see if I can find our.
And when you go for the
Coffee.
keywords here for the tracking, do you put the keywords on the title plus the keywords on PPC? Is that the way you do it?
Yeah, the keywords that you're really targeting, that the phrases that you found that you wrote into your listing, you're going to want to track those and
Yeah.
just see where you're at. So it could be a longer list. Obviously, you might want to focus on the ones in your title, especially. But let's see here if I can. I'll just choose one of these that we've already set up, and so we've got this kind of weird coffin egg tray. Okay, so we've got this coffin egg tray here, and these are all of our keywords. So what you'll do is you'll add in the ASIN, and then you'll put in a list of keywords that you want to track manually. And so this is our list of keywords. You can still see the search volume here, which is definitely helpful. You can see the search volume trend here with this graph if you wanted to. You can also see where you're organically ranked. Now this is the tracker part. So you're going to see where you're organically ranked and where your sponsored rank is. And so say you were just launching and you want to see where I'm at Gothic decor. Now this is, if you just leave it the way it is, it's going to check every 24 hours where you're ranking for Gothic decor. But if you click on this little rocket ship here, it's going to check it every hour on the hour for 8 days. So, especially during launch, you want to see, okay, where am I at kind of every hour? Am I moving? Is it kind of jumping up and down? What's it doing here? How can I make sure that I'm ranking? Because there is that honeymoon period when you launch that you want to make sure that you're ranking. Or if you maybe you just have a new keyword that you put in your listing that you found by doing some keyword research and you want to see if you can rank for it, you're going to want to put that in here to see if your strategies are working. So this is where you kind of follow it up and you can basically track and see where you're at with the organic and sponsored rank at a glance. Now, before this tool was around, you had to literally search, you know, each keyword and see, and kind of scroll down the page and see where you're at. So, for example, like Gothic decor, you'd have to type in Gothic decor and scroll down the
Oh
page. But this
wow.
just does it for you automatically every hour on the hour and does it. So it takes out all that tedious work for you. So those are the two tools. We've got the keyword research tool and the keyword tracking. Now, obviously, there's much more that you can do with the Cerebro tool, and then there's most of the stuff is in the keyword tracking is pretty straightforward, but definitely want to be using both as you're launching your products.
That's
That's about it.
yeah, but no, that's brilliant. No, thank you so much. Uh, Believe it or not, I've been selling for a year, and I've been using Helium 10 for a year, and I've still learned stuff from it. So it's brilliant for me,
Okay.
and I think this is going to make a great video for people jumping in Helium 10. There's obviously the channel, my YouTube channel, and everything's been a massive switch from arbitrage to private label, and I've getting a lot more people asking to do more private label and jump in Helium 10. I think that's going to
Ah,
give them an idea as to how much control you've got towards your listing. I think that's the biggest thing,
yes.
and how with Helium 10 you can make it so much more better, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, I used to be a math teacher, so data, I'm very much data driven. So it just makes perfect sense to be able to have access to data and then just make your listing better and better.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah. I when I first started out, like I told you, I was freelancing. And I was writing listings, and people were like, "What's your secret?" Because I would write their listings, and they would start, ranking for these keywords and making more sales. And I never wanted to tell them, but literally, it was Helium 10. It was Cerebro. I was using Cerebro and the listing builder, which is called Scribbles. And you basically make sure that you write all of those keywords into your listing. I would put some in phrase form, the most important ones, and then I would just deduplicate all the keywords. Make sure at least the single words were written in the listing somewhere or in the back end so that people could find the listing, and it works very well.
no, it's brilliant. I mean, I've seen it
Yeah.
myself. Literally having a few keywords difference, the difference you can make. For me, I thought for me was fascinating. I didn't realize the filter function where it tells you need 8 organic sales in the first few days
Yeah.
before you can rank. I thought that for me that's brand new. I've never seen it before, so it's quite interesting. So
Yeah.
something else to add to my tick list for everything
Yeah, that
pressing.
um, we created that with a strategy that was when people were using search, find, buy. Basically, they were reimbursing people, and they would say, "Hey, search this keyword, find my product, and buy it under this keyword," and then that would help you get those sales, and then they would, reimburse. But now you can't do that, so it's the same thing. If you can still rank as long as it's like pay per click sales, or if they organically click on your product. So it's really cool. It's a really good number to know so that you know what you need to do in order to get in the top 10.
No, that's brilliant. I mean, thank you
Yeah.
so much, and thank you so much for doing this for us today. I'll stop recording here, but again, Gary, seriously, thank you. It was really, I think it's going to be really good.